Well, welcome very much to this, a very special event for us. It's the public launch of the Huawei IdeaHub. My name is Jeremy Mitchell. I'm the Chief Corporate Affairs Officer for Huawei, and so I'm your MC tonight. Before we start, I just want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we're on tonight. They are, of course, the Gadigal people of the Aurora Nation, and we pay our respects to the elders past and present and emerging. As I said, tonight's quite an informal night, but an exciting night because we're very proud of this product that we're publicly launching tonight here. So what we're going to do is we'll go through it. I'll have Michael Cox, who will go through and talk about the technology and the key features of the product. He's our commercial, and then we'll have Adam, our commercial sales manager, who will talk about the important issues of price and how we're going to, and our strategy going forward. So, and then open up to you for questions that you have. But most importantly, afterwards, you get to have a run and test it for yourselves, because we're so proud of this, and once you touch it and feel it, you'll feel the excitement that we have. So, without further ado, can I invite Michael Cox to come and explain all about the IdeaHub?
Thanks, Jeremy. Welcome. So we're really happy to be able to publicly launch our IdeaHub Pro series with you today. So I'm going to start by just showing you how the system works. So we have a number of capabilities within it. I'm going to actually use the wireless connection that is connected to my laptop and is running a presentation. And as you can see, I can do things on the screen, not much happens. But if I turn on reverse control, I can now control everything on my laptop from this display. So I can, for instance, scroll through the presentation that we're about to give. Sorry. I can turn it on now and scroll through the presentation we're about to give. I can go to the first page, I can put us into presentation mode, and you can see I can use pen, I can use fingers, it doesn't really matter. So, IdeaHub. Intelligence at your fingertips. We see this as a product that fits pretty much anywhere. It can fit quite easily into meeting rooms. It has a place in open offices, in open office environments. It's portable, you can roll it around, you can move it, it's quite flexible. It has a place in the executive boardroom, where it can actually be a productive tool and a collaboration tool. And it can equally work at home and become effectively an advanced office in a home environment with that full flexibility. It supports smart business and smart education and smart services. And I'm going to show you and introduce you to the technology and show you how it does that, and then I'm going to demonstrate those capabilities. So, IdeaHub, what is it? We see it as a productive tool for smart spaces. So all of those environments, all of those scenarios, it has 5 integrated capabilities. We have the ability to handle projection. So where you traditionally had a projector or a number of displays, you can easily project to this display as a single integrated display. It has options for projection, wireless, or you can use traditional HDMI interfaces if you wish. It has support for conferencing, audio and video conferencing, and very advanced support. And it's seamless and integrated across any of the types of conferencing that you've had to learn to use during this COVID lockdown. I mean, it hasn't been, traditionally it was, we are a Webex shop, and you now need to talk to clients who run Zoom. So you've had to become a supporter of Zoom. You have to become a supporter of Teams. You have to become a supporter of all of these. We have smart cameras and audio that integrate with those. We have support for whiteboard, very advanced whiteboard. It's one of the key differentiators of the product, and again, fully integrated. And then we have expandable systems. So there's a built-in system which supports AI and knowledge-based capabilities, and we have an additional Windows platform directly integrated, which allows you to support all of your Office applications. So let's start with elegant simplicity, one of its key features. You can see it here. It's a display. It has one cable connecting it, power, that's it. It's on convenient rollers. It can be wall mounted if necessary. You can wheel this into any room where you need the capabilities that I'm going to demonstrate to you. It won the 2020 Red Dot Design Award, so it's well recognised. It's user-centric technology. It's the latest in innovation. Part of the technology embedded within it is an advanced 4K LED-based display screen. So this allows us to have a very thin profile, very bright, very clear, and supports a very high resolution and frame rate, so 60 frames per second, which I'll talk about in a little bit. We also have an integrated professional 4K camera. This is an ultra high resolution, higher than most, 1800 TVL. These are the vertical lines of resolution. That is at professional level. So this is a professional 4K camera. And it's cutting edge, and I'll demonstrate some of the advantages when you put some AI processing behind that camera for the video conferencing convenience. We have built in, if you look up the top there in the camera, you'll see little dots. So 6 on each side, 12 in a linear array microphones. And this allows us to do very advanced audio processing so that we can actually pinpoint a speaker using far field with half a degree of accuracy up to 8 meters away. And that allows us again to add some value to the video conferencing. We also have a full bandwidth audio capability, so 20 kilohertz. And that allows us to have crystal clear voice. And then with that audio field processing, we can actually remove background noise. And that just makes it absolutely perfect. So how do we do this? Well, built into the system, it has native system on chips that provide all of this capability. And we don't just use off-the-shelf ones, we use our own custom designed ones. And so we are at least a generation or two ahead of our competition. And that allows us to build in more CPU cores, more RAM, more flash memory, and then support conferencing natively and support the camera and audio processing natively on the system. We have native support for the codec processing, and we have native support for encryption. So it's all done, it's offloaded effectively onto the hardware, it's not running in the software, which means that the system is just more responsive, more efficient, more secure. We also have, as I said, a Windows platform directly integrated. You take a look at any conferencing environment or boardroom environment, there's a display, there'll be a computer somewhere in a cupboard or under a desk, right? There'll be cables everywhere, there's microphones hanging off the roof, there's a projector, right? There's speakers all over the place. That's a kind of typical environment. This is all in one, tightly integrated. And it's an open system. Everyone knows Windows. Even if you're a Mac shop, all of your applications will still be supported on Windows, can run on Windows, and anything you need to communicate with or interact with on this display system can be done in Windows. And you can put it under your full corporate policy management. And then we have an open SDK that allows you to develop your own custom apps. And I'll talk a bit more about that right at the end. So, let's have a look at some of the capabilities. That's the technology. Let's look at what you can do with it. So, projection. We have 3 fundamental techniques that help us optimize this for projection. The 4K is obviously one of them, the LED display is another. That's running at 60 frames per second. Okay? We have native support for H.265 codecs and decoding, and that improves the performance. So when you have a wireless connection, the actual connection for the wireless, like to my laptop, which is displaying all of this at the moment, that is H.265 encoded for very low latency and hyper response. So when I move here, the movement over there is almost instant. So I can demonstrate that. If I go to annotation mode, so start to draw, and I know you can't all see my screen over there, but this is annotation, and you can see the latency there, right, which is still pretty good. That's annotation on here to my laptop displayed here, right? That's how it works. Let's not do that. Let's try something different. All I'll do is erase ink. Let's try using the board's native annotation. You're going to notice a big difference. Yeah, that's the board annotated. That annotation isn't on my screen over there. The previous one was. But these combine. They all work together. Cancel. Okay. Sorry. Cancel. Okay. So, projection comparison. This is just a simulation, and it's showing the difference between a 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, a low dynamic resolution, high dynamic resolution, higher brightness, lower brightness, and so on. This is just the current against the traditional. It's a step up, right? You can get the equivalent. These displays behind me are industrial displays. They're very bright. They also cost a lot, right? This is a very bright, very capable, high-performance display. I have some 4K video, which I'll demonstrate. So I can go to the home page. I can click Windows or select Windows. And what that has just done is it's jumped me within the system onto its native Windows platform. And then within that, I can now play native applications and videos. So that's a 4K, 60 frames per second. Back to the wireless presentation. And continue. Let's go to the next one. So that's presentation, projection. Now we're going to talk about how it streamlines meeting rooms. And we already talked a little bit about that, removing the cables, removing the complexity. This is a traditional kind of setup for video conferencing. You will have a large display, hopefully. You will have 1 or 2 cameras, depending upon the type of system and its capabilities. That needs to be cabled in. You will have a microphone. It needs to have network connections. It needs to have power connections. It needs to have data cabling connections. You need to have a video cable, right? You need to have a PC somewhere under the desk that's running the software you need to support it. You can't move that. If I want all that capability, I have to physically be in that room, and only that room. With an IdeaHub, it integrates all of that. It moves with the IdeaHub. There's only 1 cable and 4 rollers. Just move it to the next room, turn it on, bang. All those capabilities are right there. This changes the game for complexity of video conferencing. And this is going to be needed more and more as we even move out of COVID. We're going to be embracing, right? Work from home, work remotely, not jump on a plane. We need to be able to collaborate across cities, across states, across countries. So we have all that support for native 4K. We have the 4K camera. The AI then jumps on top of this hardware and provides native processing. And this native processing usually is only available within a proprietary implementation. So if you buy vendor A's high-end solution for video conferencing, it has some really cool features, right? But it doesn't support Zoom. It only supports their system at that level. This processing runs on the hardware and supports all the applications transparently. And I'll demonstrate that. So we have the ability to do speaker tracking. We have the ability to do Acoustic Baffle, which is noise isolation and separation, which improves quality, and we have automatic framing capability. And I'll show you what all of those look like. So, Acoustic Baffle. What that does is it effectively creates a virtual listening zone, physically, in space. And it will only pick up human voices and communication within that listening space and will ignore what's outside of that space. So if I go to settings, I can demonstrate this. So let's turn on the Acoustic Baffle, which it is on. I'm going to open it up large, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into the zone. And you can see as I speak, it's picking me up. If somebody else, Jeremy, would you like to say something?
Michael, doing very well so far.
Thank you. I'm now going to step out of the zone, and you'll see it stops responding. Everything I'm saying, my entire volume now, is not being picked up by it and will not be part of the conference. It won't be communicated to your video conferencing software. I'm outside of the audio zone. And I can change that zone if I need your phone. Say something, please.
Yeah, my voice cannot be picked up.
Okay, now say something.
Now you can pick up my voice.
Yep, thank you. So that's native, it's built in. So whatever other application you run, and we'll talk about those in a bit, that will run across and automatically that application. So next. Hello? Oh, wrong way. So the next one, I don't need to demonstrate Acoustic Baffle, we've done that. But I will demonstrate this one because this one's different. So this is video and it's called auto framing. So you may have noticed with the Acoustic Baffle that the video camera can pretty much see this entire room. And what it's doing is it's doing like a camera that's trying to take a photo and keep everybody in focus. It detects faces. It's not identifying them, it's just detecting a face, right? It knows you're a face, you're a face, you're a face. And it says, okay, I need to have this frame in order to have all those faces captured. Because you're all seated, I don't want you all getting up, running around, so we will let this one play. So, it's got 3 people. When 2 leave, it will reframe on these 2. When he leaves, it knows they're out of frame and there's only 1 person left, it reframes. When he comes back, it will reframe. And then when the 3rd person comes back, it will reframe. This means that if you've moved it into a room, it'll automatically frame to the room and adjust. It'll always be optimum for who's in the video conference. And it'll always be removing extraneous background sound. And it'll do that in every application you could possibly want to run. Okay, intelligent speaker tracking. I can demonstrate this one, so I will demonstrate it instead of showing you the video for it. We go to settings, and this time we'll go to camera. Voice tracking is what we want. I'll make it large again, and I will be speaking over here, and it will find me. Hello, 1, 2, 3. So I'm the focus of attention. Jeremy, would you like to say a few words?
Certainly, Michael. Hopefully it zooms into me.
Of course it would. What did you expect? Okay, Anna, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, great presentation, Michael, and it's a great product.
Thank you very much. So again, this is native. It's built into the system, right? It works with any software you want to run on Windows platforms, which almost everything runs on. And it's all in this one unit with one cable.
And if you have a Mac connected by cable or wirelessly, it works too.
A Mac where?
Connected like your laptop.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
will do all the same things.
All this, yep. Yep, so if you had Photoshop or something on the Macintosh.
Or Zoom.
Zoom, yep, it'll all run.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, back to wireless presentation. Good, skip that. Okay, so next thing, and this is where it gets really interesting. So we've done the presentation, right? We've done the video conferencing, whiteboard. Now, you're used to smart boards and whiteboards and smart, sort of systems. They're not the same, right? Almost every organisation still has a whiteboard because, you know what, that digital one, it's terrible, right? It's terrible. They have flipboards because they need to actually do multiple records and they want to keep a record of it, and there's no other natural way to do it, right? You need a natural interface. The IdeaHub brings that because what it's done is it has a response time of the detection and accuracy of 35 milliseconds. It's almost undetectable. And it means when you interact with this system, it feels very much like you're working with pen and paper. So, I'm going to show you a couple of things. This is a comparison between what you're used to and our board slowed down. This is also built into the functionality, which is automatic detection of certain styles. So you can detect characters, you can detect shapes, you can detect writing. So I'll show you what that looks like in the system. So, whiteboard, I've got multiple pages. So I can go to a pencil, I can say, yeah, this is page 1, I'll come back to that later. Right now, I want to be on page 2. And I can have up to 100 pages. So this is your flipboard already taken care of. So, what have I got here? Let's start. I'm going to use a pen, or pencil, sorry. So, what is
The meaning of life.
Actually, no, I won't do it in pencil. I'll just, oops, sorry.
Eraser.
Yeah.
No, you need to turn off Zoom. So I'll just zoom it back in. There we go. Turn off Zoom. I'm going to do this with a felt tip pen. So, what is IdeaHub? Well, let's see. We did talk about IdeaHub basically being display projection. It's one of its features. We did say that conferencing is another one of its features. And we did say that whiteboard was another one of its features. So we now have these three. So let's put those together, shall we? I'm going to put projection up here. I'm going to take conferencing. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to take the whiteboard. Undo that. Hey. Now, we take that, we take that, we take that, right? Projection, conferencing, whiteboard. Then, in here is what we actually term the convergence. Or collaboration. What that means is that this is IdeaHub. So in addition to those features, I just have a few more to talk about. Part of when you walked in, you would have seen this display. This is a default display. It's the effectively introduction. You have full control over this. You can put whatever material you like in this. This could have the room booking information. It could have an interface for booking the room. It could have instructions. It could have safety guides. It could have COVID information. It could have whatever you need. So they're the fully customizable start board. We have the ability, of course, to run all of your applications, access from internal cloud, access from public cloud, do all the editing directly on the IdeaHub if you want to, and of course save and load local files. Or if you're having a whiteboarding session where you're actually brainstorming some ideas, you can actually record the entire session in HD and save it locally to a USB for later review and analysis and recall. So all of these things together, I hope you're as excited as we are about IdeaHub and the IdeaHub Pro, especially in Australia, because we are excited. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. I might just get you to stay there. I'd like to now bring up our commercial sales manager, Adam Eisenhower. Adam, now your job is to sell this. I guess let's just get to the chase. Looking at all this, what's it going to cost someone to experience all this fantastic technology?
Of course, I'm glad you asked that. I've actually prepared something earlier, so we'll just go to the windows and we'll bring up some pricing for you. There it is there. So what I did a comparison against Cisco and Microsoft. As you can see, there's a difference in sizes between us, and there's of course a difference in pricing as well. So for this version here, you're looking at under $15,000. So compare that to the Microsoft, you can get a 2-for-1 type deal. So it's a very attractive price. And for the 65-inch, you can get under 10K. So very attractive pricing. It's very aggressive pricing in the marketplace, because that's who we are. We offer some great products, which you've just seen the value of IdeaHub in terms of the functionality. We want to match that with some great pricing as well.
So I guess Huawei has a worldwide reputation for price point competitiveness with advanced technology. So we're going down that route again. But there's a big difference. So do you see yourself really as is this a real challenger? And a challenger product that's going to really disrupt this market?
Look, this pricing is our standard pricing. It's not some introductory pricing that we're just to launch the product. This is what you'll get day in and day out type of pricing from our partners. So it is aggressive, and it will remain this pricing. So it's not an introductory pricing in that regard.
Fantastic. So. Looking at all this, and it has been released overseas as well, and I'll get on to sort of how that's gone. Who are we aiming at? What's your strategy, your go-to-market strategy here? Who are you going to be selling this to, and how are we going to be selling it to the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So you've seen the functionality. It's great for education in particular. About 60% of this type of market is in the education space. So that will be a big feature for us moving forward. But definitely the boardroom, executive meeting rooms will be a great feature. We've seen great interest in technical environments where people work on design and manufacturing processes, but also in terms of home offices, shared office space as well. There's been great interest. And I think it comes back to what IdeaHub and what it represents is that in terms of COVID, a lot of people have gone to online meetings and so forth around Zoom and things like that, and they're a bit over it. They need something to inject some excitement, some collaboration into the meeting, and this is what IdeaHub will do to those meetings.
Yeah, because we're all talking about what's the post-COVID business environment going to be. We all know that likes of Zoom and all that will stay because it's just now been embedded into our way of life. But this sort of takes it further. And I guess the other point I would say that COVID has demonstrated that if you need to be nimble, you need to be flexible, and you need to, before COVID, I didn't know who Zoom was, I never heard of it, or, and Teams, and then all of a sudden, every workplace needed it. You needed to have it to operate. So I guess that enables flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. So being, basically a big Windows device, you can run anything on it. I know personally, I have Zoom meetings, I have team meetings, I've had GoToMeetings, I've had all these variety of meetings placed, and it hasn't been, while that's been great that I've been able to do that, having something to be more productive around whiteboarding and having multiple people interact with it is going to produce better outcomes for the organisation through those meetings. So I think it's a very attractive proposition.
And so our go-to-market strategy, what are we going to be doing? How are we going to be selling this?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that we do here in Australia goes through our channel. We have some great channel partners out there in the marketplace, and with the interest that this is gathered in the marketplace already, we've seen an increase in the numbers of partners that we have. We have 2 distributors here in Australia, Exceed and Cinex. Both of them carry local stock. In terms of other delivery times, it's about 5 weeks. We have everything shipped at the moment because of the situation in the world. But yeah, everything goes through our channel partners.
So, that's a good lead in here. Now, with COVID, we know supply chains become a huge issue for multiple products. So, is there any supply chain issues for Huawei?
No, in terms of this particular product, we've had no supply issues and we don't envision any supply issues moving forward. Since the middle of last year, we've actually sold 80,000 of them worldwide, including Europe, South America, the Middle East, and throughout Asia. And our production forecast for this calendar year is 500,000 units. So we're not going to run out of units or components for this product anytime soon.
Fantastic. All right, now I'll open it up to the floor, and just to let you know, the first 2 questions get a very special prize.
Well, I got a question.
All right.
Well, look, I mean, you can't avoid it. You're going to have hysterical former US presidents and former Australian prime ministers who are going to say, how do we know this is all not being sent to President Z, every board meeting in the world, which is, of course, ridiculous. But, I mean, what does Huawei say to those people who would make those kind of claims?
Yeah, please test it. Go ahead, test the device. In some of our overseas markets, including China, we actually sell a cloud-based version, so it connects to the Huawei cloud. This version that we sell here in Australia is an independent version. It doesn't connect to the Huawei cloud. So please, if you're interested, we can supply a proof of concept, and then you can do all your various...
And of course, people could run whatever firewalls and whatever they wanted on there to stop whatever traffic they wanted.
I think that's your point, Alex.
Yeah.
It's running on Microsoft.
Yeah.
The parameters that we've got with Microsoft, you trust Microsoft, you're going to trust the idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Huawei is always able to sell MateBooks with Windows 10, so that never stopped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, you've got the first prize.
Okay. Hopefully it's one of these whiteboards.
You'll be disappointed. All right.
I have a question. If we deploy, let's say, 5 or 6 units, is there a centralized way of managing the software updates rather than individually managing them?
Yes, it's a Windows platform, so you would put it under your Microsoft Active Directory management and
Okay,
job done. Yes.
And given it has an Android component, is there also an Android central management, or does the...
You can use Windows MDM to manage it as well.
Yeah, we have clients using Intune and other mobile device management solutions as well to help manage. You can load your own corporate SOE onto the device itself, so you can manage it that way as well.
And the SDK, if you've got a sophisticated environment, allows you to actually build your own custom applications and deploy those.
based on Android or Windows or both?
Both.
Great.
Excellent. Another question?
Very impressive, I must say. I'd like one for my YouTube videos also. But you obviously see that work from home is going to carry on for some time. Is that right? Is that the way you see the sector in say the next 6 to 9 months? Because really that's what that's based for, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
just getting in
I
touch
think
with
even
everyone.
beyond that as well. I think there'll be a dynamic change in the way that organisations work. Some will go definitely back to the workplace environment, the office. Some will have a mixed and hybrid model, and some organisations will continue to work from home. So we have to cater for all these different environments, and for organisations to function efficiently, productively, they need to be able to communicate and collaborate together. And this is where this type of technology becomes so important.
I mean, in theory, it's only the C-suite that's going to be able to afford this for their home. So, I mean, it would be for schools and boardrooms and...
Look, it's 50 million in Powerball.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'll get two.
But I think to add further to that, I think the big change is going to be, I think the realisation that proprietary environments are going to be too limiting for people, because the amount of people and companies that have had to reinvest money in the last 12 months when they've had a Cisco or Polycom or whatever, even a Huawei proprietary system, just doesn't work. And so you need to have that flexibility And that's, I think, the big change.
With the
The
vo-
quality and the price are extraordinary, really.
Yeah.
But the advantage is that you get the top end, like the very, very, very premium end capabilities of video and audio conference processing now available to every client. You can run on Windows.
Yeah. Well, just the audio, I mean, concept of you know, having your separate sectors and the microphone is just, you know,
You're
thinking.
You're a YouTube vlogger,
Yeah.
so I mean, you've seen YouTube videos where the dog or the kids are barking in the background or screaming in the background. The audio baffle, that just doesn't happen.
You know, in conferences you can have your team
I don't know what a
on
dog
the
would do
side.
at the conference, right?
Yeah, when it's the home office and the dog gets in somehow, I mean, you can baffle the dog by having a baffle.
Yeah.
The most common problem I see in the meeting rooms is quite a few meeting rooms I've seen, they're right next to the kitchen. And during the meeting, they go, how can I get rid of the noise from the
Kettle.
tap or
Yeah.
kettle or microwave? And not all the rooms are acoustically treated. Even if they're treated, you get at least 30% of the sound seeping in.
Leakage.
So now you've got the perfect answer. But you need a Huawei IdeaHub.
Sounds like a good idea.
Will this work with Max?
Will this work with Max?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's because it's a Windows system in the back end.
Yeah,
It has all the
but it's-
traditional connectors.
yeah.
You've got USB, you've got HDMI. We have a little dongle. We have a remote control pad, and you can then use the wireless client.
I mean, you can use a keyboard, wireless keyboard and mouse.
Your phone can do it. Laptops can do it. Macintoshes can do it. iPhones can do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I looked before, it's a Core i5 or Core i7, so it's not a seller, it's a powerful system.
Yeah.
It's not a slouch.
See.
And it's supported by very powerful system, on-chip capabilities on board hardware.
Does it come with a remote control?
Yes. Where's the
No.
And it's got 2 pens, or how many pens does it come
two
with?
pens?
2 pens, yeah.
So you don't need the pens. The pens are entirely optional.
Yeah.
Everything can be done with touch,
Touch, yeah.
but the pens are sometimes a nice kind of interface.
So that's the remote.
That's
That's
the
the
remote, the desktop remote, so you can control volumes and so forth and various aspects. Universal also have the dongle as well.
So that's one of those traditional universally just works.
So the touchpad and the screen has to be on the same domain?
They're already linked.
Okay.
And the little touchpad, when you plug it into the screen, it will register with the screen. Then you plug it into a laptop, and it'll just.
It just
work.
needs charging.
Yep. No, doesn't need charging. The tablet does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So when are these on sale? Right now?
Right now.
Right now.
And
Launched it when? Last year sometime.
Yeah.
So we launched it worldwide in August last year, and we've just done a relaunch. Some people may have seen the videos on YouTube with the Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
We'll play it as we have a drink.
so is this a refresh, or it's the same but just relaunched for the world?
It's a refresh. So one of the things that Huawei does is continue to improve. The screen quality has improved, the text and the objects shaping has improved, and we'll continue to innovate. So I think in that regards, we've also brought out a board, so a lower end version of these as well. So we'll continue to innovate and continue to bring out new versions as well.
Great.
Excellent. So if there's no more questions, we'll give you an opportunity to come up and test it for yourself. But also grab a drink and have a chat. I didn't introduce Hudson, our CEO, so he's here to have a talk to you and have a chat, and Theo, our head of enterprise as well. So please join us for a drink. Thank you very much for coming. We're really proud of this, and hopefully you can see why now. So thanks very much.